Crimes that shocked the world 2021. Case 1. U.S. Capitol Building. On January 6, 2021, a chaotic scene unfolded as a swarm of Donald Trump supporters stormed the Capitol building while Congress was in session. The incident occurred following a Save America rally held by Trump at Ellipse Park, adjacent to the White House. Throughout his hour-long speech, Trump and certain members of Congress repeatedly addressed the 2020 election and the alleged fraudulent results that led to Trump's defeat. During the rally, Trump called on his supporters to march towards Capitol Hill, where Congress was convening to certify Joe Biden as the new president. In his closing remarks, Trump urged his followers, saying, "We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore." Prompted by Trump's words, the crowd commenced their march towards the Capitol at 1 p.m. Law enforcement vehicles hurried ahead in an attempt to reach the scene before the rioters. However, the barricades were breached with ease, and the angry mob overpowered security, infiltrating the building within a short span of time.
We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. I love Pennsylvania Avenue. And we're going to the Capitol. We're going to try and give them the kind of pride and boldness that they need to take back our country.
Inside the Capitol, the crowd roamed from door to door, actively seeking out senators and congressmen, all the while asserting Trump's supposed victory in the election. The building itself became a target of vandalism and widespread destruction as the demonstrators ravaged its interiors for hours on end. In response to the escalating chaos, tear gas was deployed in the rotunda, and those present in the chamber were advised to retrieve their gas masks from beneath their seats. After hours of unprecedented violence, Donald Trump finally released a video on Twitter, urging the individuals involved to disperse and go home. While he took the opportunity to reiterate his claims of election fraud, he also expressed his love for his supporters. By 6 p.m., some rioters still remained inside the Capitol, but efforts were underway to clear the building, and authorities were now focusing on removing people from the Capitol grounds. As a means to restore order, Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser issued a citywide curfew from 6 p.m. that day until 6 p.m. the following day, aiming to quell the ongoing riots. Perhaps the most disturbing aspect of this tragic incident is the fact that Trump, from the confines of the Oval Office, spent approximately 2.5 hours observing the chaos unfold. Despite pleas from multiple individuals to intervene and call for an end to the violence, it wasn't until 4 p.m. that Trump finally conceded and released a video on Twitter, more than 3 hours after the siege had begun. Sadly, the story takes an even more heartbreaking turn, as 4 individuals lost their lives as a result of the riots. Among them was Ashley Babbitt, a rioter who was fatally shot by a Capitol police officer, while 2 others succumbed to heart conditions, and 1 individual died from amphetamine intoxication. Approximately 2,000 people are believed to have been involved in the riot, with approximately 978 individuals now facing charges. The committee investigating the events recommended 4 charges against Trump, including obstruction of an official proceeding, conspiracy to defraud the United States, incitement of insurrection, and conspiracy to make false statements. The repercussions of this unprecedented attack on the Capitol continue to unfold, prompting intense scrutiny and legal proceedings as the nation seeks justice and accountability. Case 2. Murdaugh murders. The Murdaugh family, known for their esteemed reputation and wealth, has a long-standing history of holding the position of circuit solicitor in South Carolina, spanning 3 generations from 1920 to 2006. However, this influential family found themselves in need of law enforcement when a series of disturbing events unfolded. It all began with a tragic boating accident that resulted in the death of Mallory Beach. What initially appeared as a mere accident soon revealed deeper layers. On the 24th of February 2019, around 2:20 a.m., Paul Murdaugh was operating the boat when it collided with the Archers Creek Bridge in Beaufort, South Carolina. The impact of the crash ejected Beach from the boat, and her body remained undiscovered. After 8 days of extensive search efforts by volunteers and investigators, her body was eventually recovered approximately 5 miles downstream. The autopsy determined that drowning and blunt force trauma were the causes of her death. During the investigation, it came to light that Murdaugh was operating the boat while being 3 times over the legal alcohol limit. Testimonies from the individuals aboard stated that Murdaugh exhibited erratic behavior after consuming shots, and despite pleas from others to let someone else drive, he adamantly refused. Adding to the gravity of the situation, Murdaugh was underage and had used his brother's ID to purchase alcohol. Both Paul and his father, Alex Murdaugh, attempted to shift blame onto another teenager as the driver of the boat. However, this narrative did not align with the injuries sustained. Paul pleaded not guilty to 3 felony charges, including boating under the influence and boating under the influence causing death, and was subsequently released on bond. However, what follows is a shocking twist in this unfolding saga. On the 7th of June 2021, at 10:06 p.m., Alex Murdaugh placed a call to the police, reporting the discovery of his wife, Maggie, and his son, Paul, shot and lying near the dog kennels at their family hunting lodge in South Carolina.
I did go get a gun and bring it down here.
It's in your vehicle? Do you have any guns on you at all?
No, sir. It's leaning up against the side of my car.
Okay. You're fine, man. You're fine. Turn around for me.
I don't have any.
Okay. Yes, sir. I see that. Okay. This is your wife and son?
Alex claimed that he had been visiting his mother at the time of the murders and maintained his innocence, stating that he had merely found their bodies upon returning home. However, it wasn't until October, approximately 4 months after the homicides, that Alex became a person of interest in the investigation, as identified by the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. As law enforcement delved deeper into the case, shocking revelations began to surface, causing Alex's web of deceit to unravel. Investigators scrutinized the phone activity of the Murdaugh family, leading to Alex's admission of lying during his testimony. Acknowledging the complexity of his deception, it became clear that Alex had attempted to establish an alibi by making a brief visit to his mother, who suffered from dementia. For months, Alex had testified that he had not been to the kennels on the night of the murder.
He's got a bird in his mouth!
Bubba. Hey, Bubba.
It's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash.
A video recorded by Paul shortly before his death, near the family kennels, captured his father's voice in the background. Over 10 family members and friends testified that the voice belonged to Alex. Astonishingly, Alex himself admitted to the authenticity of the voice and confessed to misleading investigators about his whereabouts, attributing his actions to paranoia fueled by his opioid addiction. In July 2022, slightly over a year after the murders occurred, Alex was indicted for the murder of his wife and son. On the 2nd of March 2023, he received a life sentence in prison without the possibility of parole for these heinous crimes. Alex now faces a staggering 102 grand jury criminal charges, along with 19 indictments related to financial fraud and drugs. As a consequence of the legal proceedings and investigations, the once respected lawyer has been disbarred from practicing law and has had his assets seized. Case 3. Ghislaine Maxwell. The high-profile case of British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell gained worldwide attention as she faced charges of sex trafficking and other crimes related to her association with Jeffrey Epstein. Maxwell, a British socialite, had a relationship with Epstein that started around 1991, and they remained closely connected until Epstein's death in 2019. The exact timeline of their romantic relationship is unclear, but they dated for several years. The disturbing saga began in 2005 when the parents of a 14-year-old girl reported to the police that Epstein had abused their daughter. Epstein received an 18-month sentence for this particular offense, but it was only the beginning of a series of cases that followed. Epstein was accused of trafficking numerous underage girls to have his way with them, leading to his arrest again in June 2019. He was denied bail at that time. In July 2019, Epstein attempted to take his own life but was unsuccessful. On August 10th, he was found dead, and it was ruled that he hung himself. Subsequently, a judge dismissed all criminal charges against Epstein, shifting the spotlight to Maxwell, his accomplice in the sex trafficking scheme. Maxwell played a pivotal role in enticing minors and providing underage girls to Epstein. The reported time frame of these despicable acts spans 10 years, from 1994 to 2004, and they took place in New York, Florida, New Mexico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. During the trial, 4 victims testified that Epstein had abused them, and Maxwell not only facilitated the abuse, but also, shockingly, participated in these heinous acts at times. Maxwell's defense attempted to portray her as a scapegoat for Epstein's crimes while challenging the credibility of the four women's testimonies. Maxwell was arrested in July 2020 and formally charged in December 2021 with 5 counts of sex trafficking-related charges. However, throughout the case, she demonstrated no remorse and refused to accept responsibility for her actions, stopping short of admitting her role. She also attempted to deflect blame, even stating on the podium that Jeffrey Epstein should have been present instead. In June 2022, Maxwell was sentenced to 20 years in prison by Judge Allison Nathan. The slightly longer sentence was imposed due to the repeated and horrific nature of the crimes Maxwell facilitated, as well as the compelling testimonies provided by the 4 abused women. She is currently serving her sentence in a federal prison located in Danbury, Connecticut. If you enjoyed this video, then please show your support for this channel by liking, subscribing, or leaving a comment with your thoughts on this video.